Hi traders, it's E from MarketWizards.com, and it's about not quite 2:30 on Sunday, the 12th of June, 2022, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. Let's take a quick peek at the Emini SP, one of my favorites. Do a lot more with the NQ these days, but I continue keep an eye on Emini as well. I think it's a very important vehicle to keep an eye on because it is so closely watched and traded. Big look weekly, and we can see a couple of things on this macro frame, what I call it. And for convenience, I've used the settings that have been prompted by the system, showing what print highs and lows are, and it's close enough for this work. And then the detail obviously comes later. But if you can take the whole stretch up here and then look back and see the pullback, certainly we can see that we have come back, not quite to the first level from last year, close. So we've tested this bar. This is the theoretical next support zone right here, this yellow box I put in. I've labeled it this way. And then obviously we need to look at the base here in 3606, 3600 area should be the next support zone if we take out this bar right here. And then obviously if we're looking at a perspective of 456, we know that we haven't even come back basically the 40 back yet. This would be our 40 back in here, and 50 and 60. So that's what I'm looking at the macro look. Right now we're in this box, and that's got to get resolved. And I'm certainly going to keep an eye on these two highs. I think those are important highs, and these are two important lows. David Hunter's talked about getting ready for a melt up. No discredit to him. I think he's a terrific analyst, macro trader, but so far his views have not played out, but plenty of time left in the year for that, that's for sure. In rule of thumb, I'm looking at his measures, and I can see we've got a 1,000-point trade coming back this way. So if you do a flip and goes the other way and tack on 1,000, that gets you to his 58 to 6,000 target. So I can see that, but I'm going to take it one step at a time because that's what I like to do. So for now, this is the macro look. We've got an inside year. We still haven't taken out last year's low. This is a 2-year look, but we're still inside it. So these frames of reference are very important. Top. And if we're looking at our side-by-sides, then obviously we can tell that we're approaching that first level of support down here. Still have some work to do in this bottom box. I was looking at this this past week and noticed the funnel, blue line pressing down, green and red pressing up, blue line won and exerted itself. That's the way it should resolve. Green first, red next, blue next. So it was the blue's turn to push, and you have to get above and stay above that if you want to test the rain line and then higher. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, you know that last couple of days were damaging to the longs case. Now we need to resolve this box. Quarterly view. We've made a lower high, lower low, the end of the month coming up. In the quarterly view, we can tell that we're right down here testing top of the first support box. And that's the way I like to analyze the market. If we break it down to a smaller range, and just try to use some common sense. I think we're in this box, this 4,200 to 3,800 with the 4,000 middle. And I remember talking to Anthony Crudelli and Paulie one time. We did a show that Anthony had put on, and I'd said at the time, before we go back, and I want to make projection that we're going back to retest lows. I want to see who wins the battle between 27 and 2,900. And obviously the longs won that battle. I look at this the same way. I think this is a very important piece of the puzzle right now. You have to take out this 4,000, get above and stay above if you want to build a case for the long side. And likewise, you got to take out this 38 and keep on coming to test lower lows. So this is the all important box for me right now in a smaller time frame. And obviously right here, let's say we gapped up tonight. Well, then you would still have to beat this 40-50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes down. 1, 2, 3 boxes back. So that right now is my aggressive resistance zone behind the 4,000. And obviously you've got to take out this 38.50 and then the 38s first. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and for the next week and see what happens. Now, if I take a look at the NQ, I'm going to look at a smaller frame, like a 2-day frame, see the kind of stair step that we have done. And this is typical when we get an umbrella trade. So we know right now that the NASDAQ has been very weak and has been leading to the downside. And that divergence needs to be reconciled between ES and NASDAQ in my mind. A weekly look. Looking back about 3 weeks. Trying to understand where we are and where the break was. We broke last week's low. You can see that broke and took off, and now we're coming back to test support. And a lot of times we get these fast up moves, fast down, and then at some point they reconcile and come back and consolidate in the middle. Here's the monthly look, and you can just see this all clear. And then it ran into trouble on the monthly, and we're still inside last month's range. And support until broken, obviously, and certainly these lows down here, these next few lows are going to be very important. If they get busted, then this will probably get taken out. So these two are very important. Make sure you have a chart that's clean, without anything on it. You can see things more clearly. Yearly look. We have broken down last year's low and we are testing one box below it, basically. And a market likes to move in 2-box moves typically. And if we're looking at yearly, then we already know that we're coming back to, we've tested basically the middle of this big spread. So we've already got a 40 back, working on the 50 back. And if this goes, then obviously the next level, these lows down here, and the 60 back level. All possible and more. Nobody knows. So for now, looking at this chart, most important resistance right back here, that's 13 zone. We can see that just by looking at this swing. And then these highs back up here, that's the next. If the longs are going to get out of Dodge, they have to take out this high, bring it back to the middle to the 60 back. Any rotations in here need to hold and take that high out and then hold above it if they want chance for those new highs. And Again, you're looking at, Dave Hunter talked about 19 to 20. So you just take an eyeball look at this and you swing from there. And you could see that's possible, certainly, to get up there if we do get a head of steam going, but not yet. We're not ready yet. And until we take out this high right back in here, these last 2 weeks, the market is still testing for support, in my opinion. From marketwizards.com, reminding traders you can reach me on Twitter. And obviously at our website, I've got contact information there if you'd like to talk and chat. Be well, have yourself a great week, and avoid trouble. This is not a time to be a hero. It's time to use some common sense and find the opportunities that pop up every day and keep things light. And when you're wrong, get out of trouble fast and get the ball back in play.